we good? Good evening and welcome to Mount Pleasant Area High School for tonight's game between your Mount Pleasant Vikings and the Derry Trojans.
I'm Mackenzie Leader alongside Alex Ham. For the next 4 quarters, we will be bringing you the play-by-play for what we expect to be an exciting contest.
Yes, Mackenzie, it has been an exciting year for the Mount Pleasant Area Vikings. They are a young team, but they have depth on the bench and are struggle to stop on the offensive side. Defensively, they tend to find themselves taking too many fouls, but overall they remain as a strong team and a challenge to beat. Additionally, with them being a young team, they have their ups and downs. The team sometimes struggles mentally preparing for the game, but they still have the talent to win the games. You just have to put all the pieces together.
I agree with you, Alex. Let's see if those statements ring true with this game against Derry tonight. Here are some stats for the Derry Trojans. Their conference record is 1-0 and their overall record is 3-6. Derry's top player, Justin Huss, is out with a broken leg, though, for the Derry Trojans.
And head coach Alan Belinsky hopes his high-paced offense and aggressive defense will lead them and his team to victory tonight against the Trojans. The Vikes have been very aggressive lately, leading to a little foul trouble, as I said before, so we'll see what their approach is for this game.
Thanks, Alex. We will now turn it over to our PA announcer, Matt Gross, for the starting lineups and the national anthem sung by Sarah Russell.
Are we starting? Okay.
Regardless of the outcome of today's contest, we ask that all spectators consider the time and effort that each of these young participants have put forth to represent his school. The purpose of this activity is to provide positive learning experiences and opportunities for personal growth. The participants, cheerleaders, officials, and spectators can and are expected to assist in the promotion and achievement of good sportsmanship ideals by taking personal responsibility for keeping this contest at a high level of fair, clean, and wholesome competition. At this time, would you please rise and welcome Sarah Russell for the singing of our national anthem. Gentlemen, please remove your hats. Veterans, you are encouraged to salute the flag.
Welcome back to the tip-off of tonight's contest. At the center circle tonight, we have Luke Bredner for Mount Pleasant. We are waiting for the Dairy Trojans to get to the center circle currently. We have number 33, Sam Jones, for the tipping contest. Mount Pleasant is wearing their home white, and Dairy Trojans are wearing their away blue. Luke Bredner with the win of the tip.
And Tyler Salvatore claims the ball, starting off tonight's game.
Nick Urechko dishes it off to Jonas, who overthrows Tyler Salvatore, so it is Trojans' ball.
Number 1 from the Trojan passes it to 2, throws it to 20, who keeps it in the court.
Mount Pleasant defense is keeping them high. Number 20 with the 3, misses, and Jake Johnson has it. Jake Johnson dishes it off to Nick Urechko. Nick Urechko tries for a 3, misses, and the Trojans recover the ball. The Trojans with number 1 coming down the court, loses the ball, but it is their ball at the baseline.
And one from Derry, who is Ryan Bushley, passes it in. 33 attempts. Ball's being passed around, and ball is out of bounds once more.
Luke Bredner just pretty much took
Took it off the foot, it looked like, Mackenzie.
Definitely. But he definitely stopped 2 of the shots that looked like that were going in. Number 2 takes control of the ball, dishes it off to number 1. Back to number 2. Back to 20. In the center for 33. Now number 1 is trying to get in under 33 tries, but Luke stuffs.
There was a jump ball, and Derry keeps the ball. Once more, 1, who is Ryan Bushley, throws it in. 20 attempts, but does not go in. 20 has the ball, though, once more. Tries again, and again misses.
Luke Bredner takes the ball and controls it, dishes it off to Jake Johnson, who is looking for his teammates, trying to drive in. Missed pass by Jake Johnson, but it is still Mount Pleasant's ball at the baseline.
It does appear Derry's strategy is more of a pass and pass around the ball.
I definitely agree. I think they're trying to get inside the lane to try to score an easy 2. Tyler Salvatore with the 3, though, from the near corner, but he misses. So the Trojans come down, number 14 coming. Jonas stuffs him. And the Mount Pleasant Vikings go down with Jake Johnson trying for a 2, and he sinks it. That is the first basket of the game.
As Mackenzie just said, thank you, Mackenzie, Mount Pleasant got the first score of the game, bringing the score to 2 Mount Pleasant, 0 for Derry.
Luke Bredner trying to charge as fast as he can down, trying to get inside the lane for an easy 2. He misses, but Jonas recovers the ball. There looks like a scramble on the floor, but the Trojans get it. Mount Pleasant defense rushing to get back into their positions. Number 14, tries for a 3, but Jake Johnson recovers the ball. Jake Johnson driving inside the lane, shooting for a 2. Skims the rim, but misses.
As usual for Derry.
Alex, it looks like both of the teams are having a hard time trying to get the ball inside.
It does. Regardless of the team or the player, in fact, it seems everyone's having trouble getting it in. As usual for Derry, number 1 just put the ball back into play, and his name's Ryan Bushley. Does it appear to be 8, Mackenzie, or 0?
0.
Tyson Webb for Derry.
Shoots a 3 and sinks it. We have Jake Johnson driving down slowly. in their half, dishes it off to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore tries to get on. Nick Urechko at the near corner tries for a three but misses, and the Trojans recover the ball.
Continues that pattern of not being able to sink it in the last second.
I agree. Mount Pleasant defense seems pretty good about getting inside. Seems pretty good about getting into a defensive mode that the Trojans really can't beat. Jake Johnson drives down, dishes it off,
And
Tyler Salvatore, and he sinks it too. Number 20 looks for a three at mid-post, misses. We have Luke and Jonas trying to stuff him, but 33 makes the shot. As usual, you have Jake Johnson driving down, dishes it off to Nick Urechko. Nick Urechko fakes a three, tries to get inside the lane for a two, but misses.
a whistle blown, and as we've seen constantly and consistently throughout the game, Derry's number 1, Bushy, is throwing it in once more. Mount Pleasant's defense, as Mackenzie already said, it seems to be strong. Hopefully they can keep this up the whole game. Oh!
Jonas King just stuffs number 20 as he tries getting inside the lane.
Very impressive from Jonas King.
The foul is called on Jonas King, which to me it appeared that his arms were straight up.
I'm going to have to agree with Mackenzie there. They are shooting, Derry is shooting, and it is Derry's number 33. Yeah.
It appears that Derry is shooting 2 baskets for this foul.
And Derry's number 33, who is Sam Jones, is attempting again, and he gets it in perfectly, right into the net.
Looks like Tyler Salvatore is taking control of the ball for now.
At this point in our game tonight, Jonas King has 2 fouls on him out of the 3 fouls called on Mount Pleasant so far. Jacob Bunger, number 13 from Mount Pleasant, is now in the game.
Number 20 sinks a 3 from the far corner. Derry poked the ball out of bounds when Mount Pleasant was scrambling for the ball, so it is Mount Pleasant's ball on the Derry's half of the court.
Lucas Toohey from Mount Pleasant just put it back in. Tyler got the ball. Tyler tries passing it to Jake Bungard.
He steps out of bounds as he's trying to look for any teammate while rushing inside the baseline.
Number 1 for Derry is passing it back and forth between 1 and 0 from Derry.
Seems like number 1 pretty much takes control of the ball and tries to find his teammates up underneath the basket. Derry throws that completely. I think 20 was trying to find 14 on Derry.
And they completely missed. The ball sailed out of bounds. It looks like from Mount Pleasant, Tyler Salvatore gets the ball, passes it to Jake Bungard, who passes it back to Tyler.
Tyler Salvatore is taking it down into Trojan territory. Dishes it around the horn. Lucas Toohey tries for a 3, but oversells the hoop.
And Derry...
Looks like the Mount Pleasant defense is still holding strong.
I think it's doing good work for both of them here, since Mount Pleasant's defense is strong, but Derry does seem to be pretty loose with throwing the ball around. Butterfingers, if I do say so myself.
I agree. But at this timeout,
Actually, this timeout, let's talk about that amazing national anthem by Sarah Russell. Wow, what a voice.
She's got a gift. But the Mount Pleasant overall record is 4-5 currently. But Derry was a playoff team last year. They are 1-0 in the conference. They beat Freeport, but they know that tonight's game is going to be a difficult task at hand.
As of now, it's Mount Pleasant 4, Derry 9, as we end with that timeout. So Mount Pleasant is down despite their strong defense.
Tyler Salvatore is now controlling the ball, getting into Trojan territory. Dishes it off to Lucas Toohey, dishes it back off to Tyler. Jacob Bungard now has the ball, trying to look for Luke Brandner underneath the hoop at the baseline. Both teams are having trouble trying to pass to their teammates.
Right there, Lucas Toohey passed to Tyler Salvatore, number 5 for Mount Pleasant, but it seems like Tyler couldn't get a hold of the ball and the throw was just a little too far off. Number 1, as usual for Derry, throws it back into 20. 20 gives it right back to number 1.
Seems like number 1 is their set player for the Trojan offense. I think he sets pretty much the plays.
Yes, number 1 for Derry, Bushy, does seem to be a key player for them.
But number 0 just sunk a 3, and that is Tyson Webb.
This gives Derry an 8-point lead over Mount Pleasant.
Tyler Salvatore trying to work his player. Throws it to Luke Brandner. Luke Brandner loses the ball to the Trojans. The Trojans are now coming down. They were rushing pretty hot, but number 1 misses a pass to his teammates, and Jake Johnson takes it inside the lane at the baseline and sinks it for a 2.
That bounced out the score a little bit more. Mount Pleasant 6, Derry 12, 6-point difference. Derry loses control of the ball, and it appears...
Luke Brandner poked it out of bounds.
Oh, my bad, dudes.
Tyler Salvatore looks like he's a high post defender. Jake Johnson gives it to Tyler Salvatore, who goes for a 2 and misses. Oh, but he recovers the ball nicely. Lucas Toohey goes up for a 2, misses also.
After some fast and aggressive play down on the far end, the ball's coming back towards our side.
It looks like the Mount Pleasant Vikings need to step up their offense like they're doing their defense.
I definitely do agree. Even though their defense is strong, it does appear the ball ends up more so on their side than scoring. Probably why the score is how it is right now.
Tyler Salvatore and Lucas Toohey are at a high post position on defense, while you have Jacob Bungard and J.J. Johnson at the wings, while Luke is at the baseline at the low post.
Number 1 for Derry, Bushy, just tried getting it in, but it went right off the backboard, back into play.
Luke Brandner takes control of the ball, but passes it right back to the Trojans. So the Trojans have control of the ball right now. Number 1 takes control of the ball and is settling at our half. Number 1 is just trying to waste time off the clock.
There's about 5 seconds left. 3.
Number 14 sinks the 2, and that is a quarter, which the score is 6-14.
It did appear that Derry was able to waste some time and score, as our coach called out the strategy too. As Mackenzie just mentioned, Mount Pleasant 6, Derry 14. We end the first period with Mount Pleasant having 3 fouls and none called on Derry. And out of the Mount Pleasant fouls, Jonas King holds 2 of them.
Right now we have the Mount Pleasant area cheerleaders out on the court right now.
They are cheering and encouraging our team. They're doing one of our famous cheers. Red and blue.
Big score, little score, school gets ahead. Okay. Big score, little score, big score, little score.
And as we start the second period, it's Mount Pleasant 14. Oh, my bad.
The score is Derry 14, Mount Pleasant 6.
My head kind of did it half right.
Mount Pleasant takes control of the ball. Tyler Salvatore now has the ball, looking for his teammates. Tries to drive down to the far corner, but Luke Brandner tries to charge inside the lane. Keeps the ball, goes for a 2 and sinks it. seems like the Trojans are kind of mad about how he charged at their player, but no foul was called.
I definitely agree with you, Mackenzie. There was some, let's say, loud commentary from the Derry bench.
The Derry Trojans shot a ball and it hit at the top of our hoop, so that means it's out of bounds. So Jake Johnson takes it from our baseline to give it to Tyler Salvatore. As we know, but Tyler Salvatore and Jacob Johnson are pretty much our playmakers on this team. They pretty much take control of the ball and try to find the teammates. Tyler Salvatore tries driving inside, but the Trojan defense denies him. You have Jake Johnson 4-3, bounces off the rim, but Luke Brandier tries to get it, but grabs a foul. Luke is going to shoot 2.
And let's see how this plays out. Might be able to get some valuable points from Mount Pleasant. First one bounces off the rim.
Luke shoots his second shot and makes it.
And a score update for everyone viewing. Derry 14 and Mount Pleasant 9.
You have Jake Johnson charging actually pretty hard, trying to shoot a nice 2, and he makes it.
Bringing the score up to Derry 14 and Mount Pleasant 11.
Mount Pleasant has 3 fouls and Derry only has 1. It looks like Derry doesn't get much into foul trouble, but that is a weakness of ours.
Definitely. I feel like between Jonas and Luke, we end up with more fouls than the average team.
I agree.
But Jonas is
You have number 0, who again is Tyson Webb, shoots a 3 and makes it. That makes the score 17 Derry, 11 Mount Pleasant. Jake Johnson tries juking out his defender, but the Trojans stay with him. Jacob Bungard starts for a 3, but misses. So the Trojans rush down the court again. Number 1 taking control like always, dishes it off to number 20. Tyler Salvatore grabs the ball off the rebound, tries rushing quickly into Trojan territory, but loses the ball again.
I think going into the second period, the Trojans are keeping with the passing strategy. Mount Pleasant's defense still seems to be doing pretty good, pretty strong, but I do think it's slowing down from the previous period. What do you think, Mackenzie?
I agree with you. I think they're staying in their positions. They're just a little slow to the ball.
Derry's continuously passing, going between 1 being the main player here. But 14 gets it, tries it, but was blocked by Luke, 23.
J.J. Johnson tries rushing down the court for an easy 2, misses, but grabs a foul. And as we can see, we have Jonas King ready to come in as a sub. Jacob Johnson gets to shoot 2 shots. Jacob Johnson misses his first. And we have Jonas King coming in for number 4, Lucas Tui. No, I don't know if I should say his number or not, so I said.
And JJ goes for a second shot, and it cleanly goes in. Score now resides at 17-12, Derry having the lead.
Looks like Jacob Bungard and Tyler Salvatore were trying to hold a very high line for their defense, trying to steal the ball again and score another. Looks like now Jacob Bungard and Tyler Salvatore are their high post defenders. Luke Brandier is a wing, same with J.J. Johnson, and it looks like Jonas is the baseline defender. Tyler Salvatore keeping on number 1 pretty nicely. Jacob is trying to keep. Oh, number 20 tries for a 2, but Jacob Johnson comes from behind and kicks it right out of his hand.
not to add, he had two other Mount Pleasant players blocking him pretty fiercely. J.J. Johnson has the ball, shoots right off the rim, and into possession of number 8 from Derry.
Mount Pleasant trying to rush into position, misses, but a foul is called, and it looks like it was called on Luke Brandner.
It looks like number 23 from Mount Pleasant, who is Luke, got that foul. Luke Brandner. This brings the foul count up to 4 for Mount Pleasant and 2 for Derry.
Derry number 1, Ryan Bushy, sinks his first, so that makes the score Derry 18, Mount Pleasant 12.
And he sets up for a second shot. Once more, cleanly goes in.
J.J. Johnson passes it in from the baseline to number 5, Tyler Salvatore. J.J. Johnson dishes it back off to Tyler Salvatore.
Who gives it to Nick Urechko, who shoots. Barely misses.
Jacob Bungard tries going up for the rebound, but misses. Tries getting back into position. Looks like the Trojans didn't rush fast enough for the Mount Pleasant defense. You have it. Nick Urechko up with Tyler Salvatore again. Jacob Bungard back on the wing, and it looks like Luke Brandner got taken out. Jacob Bungard tries for a 3 and misses, and the Trojans recover. Nick trying to poke it away from number 20, but misses. Tyler Salvatore sticks on number 20 now.
And 1 from Derry has control of the ball again. Passes to 14, passes to 20. 20 shoots, and it's off the rim.
Jacob Bungard recovers the pass. Jacob Johnson rushes down, tries for a 2, makes it, and a foul. That makes the foul count Mount Pleasant 4, Derry 3. The second foul was on number 1. Number 1 has 2 fouls. Number 1 got taken out, and number 2, Josh Yulry, gets put in. Jacob Johnson misses his shot, but Jonas King recovers the ball and sinks it for a 2.
With number 1 from Derry out of the game for now, waiting on the bench for a little bit, this might change out Derry's strategy a little bit. What do you think, Mackenzie?
I agree, because their playmaker who controls the ball at the top of the key is missing.
So let's see who takes over and gets control now.
Just for an update on the score, Derry has 19 and Mount Pleasant has 16. Looks like a foul has been called on Tyler Salvatore. That's his first foul, but Lucas Tui comes in for Jacob Bungard. That makes the Mount Pleasant fouls 5 and Derry still 3. Lucas Tui and Tyler Salvatore are back at the high point. Nick Urechko is on the wing now. Jonas King tries going up to number 24 underneath the basket, but they dish it off right underneath of Lucas Tui. Tries for a 2 and sinks it.
That was a pretty impressive and sneaky shot from Lucas Tui.
I agree. That brings the score up to Derry 21 and Mount Pleasant 18. Looks like Mount Pleasant has closed the gap pretty quickly.
They did. Going into second period, even though we thought their defense was weakening a little bit, they were able to step it up in the offense.
I agree. Let's just hope that they can put both pieces together in the second half and make it a cohesive second half.
I couldn't agree more, Mackenzie. And Jake Johnson, number 12 from Mount Pleasant, has control of the ball at the moment. He passes it to Lucas Tui. Quickly passes it to Jonas. Jonas is a long pass to Nick, who keeps it in bounds.
Lucas Tui shoots for a 3 and sinks it. That ties the game.
Very nice shot from Lucas Tui.
That ties the game up to 21, Derry and Mount Pleasant 21. Now with Tyler Salvatore out, you have Nick Urechko and Lucas Tui at high point. Jacob Johnson rushes down quickly, shoots for a 2, and grabs a foul.
And this angered Mount Pleasant if you didn't already pick up on that sound. The stands as well as the bench for Mount Pleasant seem to be very, very agitated with that call. If that foul was not called, Mount Pleasant would have gained the lead.
Honey, that was a foul on Derry. Luke Brandner takes the ball, tries to shoot for a 2 inside the key, but misses. Number 0 takes control of the ball at the baseline. Looks like Nick Urechko was out holding a high line trying to steal the ball off of number 0.
With about a minute left in the second period, it seems to be tensions are growing on the court. Both teams are fired up as this is a tied and very close game.
You have Nick Urechko and Lucas Tui at high point. You have Jacob Johnson and Jacob Bungard at the 2 wings and Luke Branier at the baseline.
Derry seems to be doing their passing. Once more passing it back to 20. Last period, Derry tried running the clock out and was successful in doing so. Do you think they're trying to do that now with still like 30 seconds left in the period?
To be honest, I think it's because Mount Pleasant's defense is so tight that they can't find an open player or drive inside the lane. So, Derry calls a timeout. But when we were talking to Belinsky earlier this week, over Christmas break, they have had close losses, a couple of close games against Connellsville and Laurel Highlands. And he said that they are going to focus on mostly the fundamentals of basketball this game. What do you think they're doing?
I think they're doing just that. As any team, I feel like when you start getting down on yourselves, whether it's soccer, softball, anything, you go back to fundamentals as soon as the team starts to get weaker. Mount Pleasant's fundamentals do seem to be doing stronger. I think both defense and offensively, they're getting better. But as you said earlier, they just had to put it together to be successful. And the timeout is over, and they're heading back onto the court with about 17 seconds left in the second period. The score remains tied at 21 points. Mount Pleasant 6 fouls, Derry 4.
Looks like number 1 is back in for the Trojans. I think that will help their offense since he is a key playmaker. So number 1 takes control of the ball, dishes it to number 0. Number 0 is trying to look, dishes it back off to number 1. Number 0 takes the ball, dishes it to 20, who dishes it back. Number 1 looks like all Mount Pleasant is giving them is around the horn. Number 0 tries to look for a 3, misses. And that is half. You do.
And as we head into the halftime of this game, we're going to interview Mr. Belinsky real quick. One simple question. What are some things you might
do in the second half?
Yeah.
How our team's just pressing for some apparent reason. We're just trying too hard and not letting the game come to us. If we let the game come to us, we'll be all right. All right. Lando, tell them what we need to do.
We're going to win a game. We're going to celebrate this game. This game is 21-21 tied. 9 minutes seconds. This is all I'm going to say. I love you guys.
Thank you, Landon. That was very well said.
Yep. Happy New Year.
And we'll be back after this half is over. and welcome back to Mount Pleasant Area's boys basketball live stream. If you're just tuning in, or if you've been with us for a while, the score is tied between Dairy and Mount Pleasant at 21. We're about to enter period 3 for tonight's matchup.
So, Alex, let's hope that Mount Pleasant can put both their offense and defense into one cohesive group to really win over this second half.
Yeah, we agreed on that before during the second period, and then Mr. Allen Belinsky, the head coach for the boys basketball team, also agreed with that the boys just need to put it together and make it work smoothly on the court. As we start off, looks like we have the starting lineup on the court for Mount Pleasant. JJ, Lucas Tui, Tyler Salvatore, Luke Brenner, and Nick Urechko.
You don't see Jonas King in the starting lineup, and that's a little unusual.
I'm wondering if they're waiting for Jonas to come in later due to his foul trouble earlier, or maybe it's a secret strategy they have going on.
Maybe. Well, the Trojans take control of the ball for this second half. Number 0 takes a shot from the high post, misses, but Trojans recover the ball again. Number 14 has the ball, throws it to number 0. JJ Johnson tries cutting it off, but it got there way too quickly for him. Lucas Tui Luke Brandner trying to jump for the ball. Luke Brandner stuffs him, but there is a foul. There's going to be 2 shots. Foul is on actually Nick Urechko.
That's surprising. Nick's usually a calmer player and doesn't get too many fouls called on him.
I agree. Number 33 tries for his first shot and sinks it.
And that ends the tie, bringing Dairy to 22, Mount Pleasant 21. 33 for Dairy goes in for a second shot. 33 is Sam Jones, and Jones misses.
Luke Brandner recovers the ball. JJ Johnson charging down, looking for Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui has the ball now, trying to drive inside the lane, dishes it off to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore tries for a 3 and sinks it. That makes the Mount Pleasant Vikings ahead 24 and Dairy 22. Trojans have the ball now down on our court. Nick Urechko tries defending number 20 off the 3, and he misses the shot, but the Trojans recover. JJ Johnson tries going up to stuff him, but he gets a foul called.
And the foul appears to be on player number 5, which is Tyler Salvatore.
Number 14 has 2 shots.
14 for Dairy. Tanner Nicely, who is a senior, misses his first shot.
It looks like the Mount Pleasant Vikings defense has been getting in a little bit of foul trouble from people that usually don't get fouls called on.
I agree with you. Usually we're seeing this from Luke or Jonas, even though Jonas is not in right now. It's surprising to see from Nick and Tyler so far in this period.
I agree. Tyler Salvatore has control of the ball now. Dishes it off to Lucas Tui. He gives it to Nick, who gives it to Luca at the baseline, and he bounces it out of bounds, but it stays with Mount Pleasant. Oh! The ref switched the call, and it is now Trojans' ball at their baseline.
I do agree with the ref, though. I believe Luke was the last one to touch it before
I
we went out of
agree.
bounds.
Looks like Mount Pleasant is trying to have a high line to get the ball back to them and to score easily. I think we made a mistake earlier by saying number 1 and 20 were the key playmakers. I think it's 1 and 0 that are the key playmakers. But with that said, number 1 tries for a 3 and misses. Gives it to Nick Urechko, recovers the ball, gives it to Lucas Tui. He tries for a 2, but he misses. Recovers by Jake Johnson. Jake Johnson tries going up and gets a call fouled on him. This brings the fouls to Mount Pleasant 2 and Dairy 1.
And it appears that last foul was called on number 20.
JJ Johnson has 2 shots.
He's not in.
His
First one
first-
goes
That makes the score Mount Pleasant 25, Derry 23.
Does look like there were some substitutions from Derry's side before the second shot, and JJ sets up the second shot, and it cleanly goes in, bringing the score to 26 Mount Pleasant, 23 Derry.
I think the Mount Pleasant's offensive side has been holding very good. Let's just hope that their defensive side can hold pretty good too.
I do agree with you. I think offensively they're usually a little weaker than on their defense, but offense this period so far has been pretty strong.
It looks like the Mount Pleasant defense isn't really getting the rebounds that they need to be getting, and Derry is cleaning them up. But with that said, Luca recovers the ball. J.J. Johnson tries to charge very quickly through the Trojans' lane, but misses the ball.
As usual, Derry's number one passes it back in, and Derry's back to their passing strategy.
As you can see, Mount Pleasant's having a very high line. You have Lucas and Tyler Salvatore up top, Jacob Bungard and J.J. Johnson at the wings, and Luke Brandneer at the baseline. Luca passes it in to J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson passes it to Tyler Salvatore, who is now looking for a player. J.J. is trying to look for a three, but it's not open. J.J. Johnson with the ball again. Passes it to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore drives inside the lane, passes it to Lucas Tui. Lucas Tui tries for a three, but misses. Jacob Bungard recovers it. Tyler Salvatore tries for a three. Luke recovers the ball, gets a two, and a foul. That makes the foul count equal 2-2. That makes the score Mount Pleasant 28, Trojans 25.
And the foul was called on player number 33. There goes one shot, and he sets up. And it cleanly goes in, bringing the score 29 Mount Pleasant, 25 Derry.
Looks like Tyler and Lucas are the leaders of this high line.
It does appear to be that.
J.J. Johnson tries stealing the ball through a pass, but misses, and the Trojans number 33 tries for a two, but Jacob Bungard recovers it. So we take it over. Lucas takes it over at our baseline. Looks like he's going to pass it into number 5, Tyler Salvatore.
And that is just what he does.
Tyler Salvatore charges down into Trojan territory. Luke from the far corner tries to give it to J.J. Johnson, but the pass is missed, and the Trojans recover the ball inside our half.
And the Trojans barely managed to keep that ball in bounds, but it does look like, despite the impressive effort from number 2, the ball did go out of bounds. But Trojans still have a possession on it.
It looks like the Trojans this quarter have more fouls than Mount Pleasant Vikings. But J.J. Johnson gets the ball back, tries for a 2, and sinks it.
Mount Pleasant currently has 31, Derry 25.
Number 1 at the top of the key keeps it. Passes it to 0, passes it back to 1. 2's trying to dribble inside the lane from low post driving. Gets back at the near corner. Tries passing it to 14. It's a scramble on the floor, but 0 picks it up. Number 1 driving inside the lane. Tries for a 2. Jukes Luke out and scores.
JJ currently has the ball as the score sits at 31 Mount Pleasant, 27 Derry. He passed it to Tyler for him. And it appear the ball went out of bounds due to JJ coming in and interfering. I'd rather hit my
Jacob Bungard at the near corner. Tries for a 3 but misses, but the Mount Pleasant Vikings get it again, and Luke sinks it for another 2. That makes Mount Pleasant Vikings 33 and the Derry Trojans 27. Number 1 tries charging down quickly, but Mount Pleasant stops him. Number 14 drives inside the lane and is blocked by 23 Luke.
And it's a race down court with JJ has the ball, who sinks it in. 35 Mount Pleasant, 27 Derry.
It looks like this is what we were looking for in the first half from Mount Pleasant. They are having a cohesive defense and offensive stats.
I definitely agree. Coach Blinsky seems pretty content with how the game's moving. If they could pick it up and if they could pick it up and head into the fourth quarter with a bigger point difference, that'd be preferred. But right now, at 35 Mount Pleasant, 27 Derry, that's still pretty good.
I agree. I do think that there are little holes in the Mount Pleasant's defense, but other than that, they're holding steady, and I just think that's because they're holding such a high line trying to steal the ball.
I definitely agree. I feel their offense is much, much stronger in this half of the game.
I agree.
And as the timeout ends and players head back on court, we have about 3 minutes left in the third period.
It looks like the same starting lineup for the Mount Pleasant is out there, and Jonas King is still on the bench.
Jonas looks bad. I'm not quite sure why Jonas King's still on the bench. Maybe he's going to come in fourth period. Maybe Blinsky's just avoiding foul trouble.
I agree. Tyler Salvatore tries rushing over the 20 before he shoots the three, but 20 makes it, and that makes the score Mount Pleasant 35, Derry 30.
Tyler gets the pass. He passes it back to Lucas. Lucas, long shot over to JJ. To Jacob Bungard, back to JJ. Jacob Bungard shoots. And it's off the rim, and the rebound was caught by Derry.
Derry, number one, is charging down into our zone. Luke tries stuffing him, but it is called for a foul. Looks like Jonas King is going back on. That makes foul trouble equal, and that is Luke's third foul. Number one has 2 shots. With his first shot, he makes it, rolls on the rim. But it looks like Jonas King is taking out number 4, Lucas Chewy.
And despite Luke having 3 fouls on him, Jonas King's still in the game. Number 1 from Derry sets up for their next shot. And it's off the rim.
Mount Pleasant, J.J. Johnson recovers the ball, tries charging down, dishes it to Jacob Johnson, and he sinks it too. That makes the score Mount Pleasant 37, Derry 31. With Lucas Tui out, Jacob Bungard is now holding the high post with Tyler Salvatore. Number 1 dishes it inside the lane, but Jonas King pokes it away. Charging down, Jacob Bungard tries for a 2, but misses. But it is Mount Pleasant's ball. Tyler Salvatore takes the ball at the Derry's baseline. Looking for Luke. Luke shoots a 2 inside the key, but misses, and the Trojans recover.
There's definitely a strategy set up there for Mount Pleasant Vikings, but it doesn't look like they were able to follow through with it.
I agree. Number 20 is at the baseline, dishes it off to number 2. 20 shoots and misses, but Luke tries to get the ball, and it hits off of Derry's player, so it looks like we will take the ball at our baseline.
And Luke puts it back in, passes it to Tyler Salvatore, who's trying to look to pass it to JJ. Shot wasn't clear though, so it gets down to Jacob Bungard. Whistle was blown.
Luke drives in, but it looks like he was traveling.
It looks like Derry's going to be throwing the ball back in. Our number 1, as usual, putting the ball in. It looks like he might be passing it to 0, in which he does.
It looks like the Mount Pleasant's high line has been taken back just a little bit, because I think the gap in the scores have been lowered.
There seems to be a slightly quiet lull in the game as we reach less than a minute left in the third period.
Number 0 shoots a 3, misses, and Luke comes up with the rebound. Tyler Salvatore is trying to find an open player. J.J. Johnson drives inside the baseline and scores.
That was a nice shot from JJ, bringing the score to 39 Mount Pleasant, 31 Derry. And with about 30 seconds left in the third period.
Number 1 misses his shot and Jonas King recovers the ball. Dishes it back off to Jacob Johnson. Jacob Johnson driving in the Trojan territory, looking for Jonas King. Jonas King tries to shoot his 2, misses, and Jacob Bungard tries the same thing, but it rolls right off the rim.
Multiple tries from the Vikes, but they weren't able to succeed. Now Derry has control of the ball once more. 14 tries for a shot, and it goes in cleanly, adding 3 points to the score and ending the third period. 39 for Mount Pleasant, 34 for Derry. As the third period ends and we head into the fourth, both teams had 3 fouls called on them. And as I already said, score is 39 Mount Pleasant, 34 Derry.
Just an update, their next game is against Freeport at home, and then January 10th they are at Laurel Highlands. The 13th they were at Brentwood. The 14th, is that at York or home? The 14th they are at York. The 16th they are facing Elizabeth Forward at Elizabeth Forward. The 21st they are finally back at home against Knock. The 24th is against Derry again at Derry. And the 31st is Highlands at home.
Sounds like a busy and exciting schedule for the boys' Vikes. And as we just wait for the fourth period to start,
we're hoping for the Mount Pleasant defense to really cover those holes so that the Mount Pleasant Trojans don't pass around them like they did at the end of the third quarter. But I think their offense is still very strong from the beginning.
I definitely do still agree. It appears we're sticking with the same players, having JJ, Jacob Bungard, Tyler Salvatore, Luke Brenner, and Jonas King out for the Vikes. And the Derry lineup appears to be about the same as well.
Jacob Johnson throws it in to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore trying to look for an open teammate, finds Jacob Bungard. Jacob Bungard now looking for Tyler Salvatore at a long pass. Tyler Salvatore takes the ball, tries to control it, dishes it off to J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson is looking for a hole or an open teammate. Tyler Salvatore takes the ball, looking for J.J. Johnson. J.J. Johnson shoots a 3, misses, and the Trojans recover. Number 0 has the ball now, was double teamed by Tyler Salvatore and Jake Johnson. And number 1 goes for the shot and makes it. That makes the score the Vikings 39, Trojans 36.
Tyler Salvatore has possession of the ball right now, looking for a teammate or just going for the shot himself. He passes to Jacob Bungard, who shoots, and he cleanly gets it in, adding 2 points on for the Vikes. 41 Mount Pleasant, 36 Derry. In the fourth period, tensions and aggression seems to be higher on the court as the gap between points isn't that much, and there's not much time left on the clock.
Number 0 has control now in Mount Pleasant's territory. Number 0 looks at 14 inside, number 20 on the outside, number 14 in the lane and shoots a 2 and makes it. You have J.J. Johnson rushing down, trying to juke out his defenders, looks at Jacob Bungard, shoots for a 2, and Jacob Bungard sinks it. That makes the score Mount Pleasant 43, Derry 38.
As we progress in the fourth period, it does look that Mount Pleasant's sticking with their offense and having a strong defense. Looks like another foul was called.
On number 24, that was his first foul. That means the Derry Trojans 4 fouls and Mount Pleasant only 3.
Tyler Salvatore is heading up court with the ball.
With Jacob Johnson on his side and Jacob Bungard underneath the hoop, wide open, but they missed that. Jonas King with a high pass and gets it, but he is short for the 2. Number 0 taking control of Mount Pleasant territory. Number 1 back to number 0, back to number 1. Number 1 driving inside, looks at number 20. He misses the pass back to his teammates and gets it to Mount Pleasant. Jacob Johnson tries for the 2 and makes it. And makes the score 45 Mount Pleasant, 38 Derry.
Mount Pleasant is doing pretty aggressive on the offense, keeping the points up and keeping them rolling. Derry has possession of the ball right now, 14 gets it in, scoring another 2 points for Derry. 45 Mount Pleasant, 40 Derry. And Mount Pleasant was able to score again. Mount Pleasant 47, Derry 40. Oh, and Derry was able to make a comeback, getting more points on them, but a whistle was blown. Looks like we're heading into a timeout.
While talking to Mr. Belinsky, he pointed out that over Christmas break, when they were playing, they were 12 for 16 at the three-point line. So that's actually pretty impressive.
And taking a break from basketball, Mount Pleasant has a few interesting things going on in the spring. We have the musical upcoming in April, practicing starting. It's going to be Shrek, a family favorite. And recently live streaming, as we will be here for additional games in the future. But in the past, before Christmas break let out, live stream did the Anything That Floats competition. At the end of the month, there will be a county-wide competition being held at the Mount Pleasant Area High School, and that will also be live streamed. So as we wait for the timeout to end, before we head back into this, shout out to Megan Schroyer.
And it looks like our student section is having like a frat boy theme.
I do believe the student section theme was frat night tonight. According to the student section, at least, it is frat night. And the teams are back on the court. Seems to be about the same players back on from both teams. There's about little less than 5 minutes left on the clock, and the refs are blowing some aggressive whistles. Not sure why.
Looks like Derry had too many players on the court. Well, Jacob Johnson takes the ball at our baseline and dishes it off to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore takes control of the ball while coming into Derry territory.
And Derry's substitution appears to just be sitting on the ground in front of the box.
Tyler Salvatore jukes out his defender, number 1. Gives it to Jonas King, who gives it to Jacob Johnson. Jacob Johnson is now looking for an open player. Jacob Johnson from the three-point line tries, but is short and bounces off the rim. J.J. Johnson looks like the only defender down, and he blocks number 0's shot.
With only a 5-point difference, things are getting tight and tensions are rising.
Jacob Johnson steals the ball.
A little scuffle, almost losing the ball in the process, but Jacob Johnson and Jacob Bunker were able to keep it in. Tyler, impressive shot to keep it in.
Tyler Salvatore looks like he double dribbled.
And a double dribble was called, and Derry's throwing the ball back in. Zero gives it off to number 1. About 4 minutes left in the fourth period, 5-point difference.
Definitely tensions are getting very high, not even on the court sometimes, but on the bench. But it looks like Derry traveled too. So that makes the Derry have 4 fouls and Mount Pleasant have 3.
And apparently I guess that balances out in the end, you know. Mount Pleasant 47, Derry 42. Jonas King has possession of the ball, looks to pass it to JJ, and he's able to. JJ goes for a shot. Off the backboard, into hoop cleanly. Bringing the score up to Mount Pleasant 49, Derry 42.
Derry, number 0, takes control of the ball, looking for number 1. Passes it. Number 1 trying to look inside the lane, but passes it to number 0. Looks like they're just going to go back and forth, but he tries inside the lane, bounce passes it to number 14, and number 14 sinks it for a 2.
Bringing those points back up to be more equal. Once more back to that 5-point difference. J.J. Johnson from Mount Pleasant has possession of the ball at the moment. Looks Looks to pass it to Tyler Salvatore, who gets the ball. Tyler passes to Jonas King. Jonas King gives a shot and sinks it in. Pretty nice for Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant now sits at 51, Derry 44.
I just think Mount Pleasant needs to keep their defense pretty tight to hold this lead or gain the lead even further.
They either step up their offense a lot or just stay strong on defense, I would think.
I agree, and that holds because number 0 tries for a 3, misses, and Luke recovers the ball off the rebound. J.J. Johnson dishes it off to Tyler Salvatore, which was a long pass. Tyler Salvatore now dribbling around the horn, tries to look inside or an open teammate, tries to give it to Jacob Bungard, but misses, and number 0 comes up with the ball. Number 0 looks to number 1. Number 1 trapped in the corner by Luke, dribbles inside the lane, and shoots it 2 and makes it.
And that closes the score even closer. Mount Pleasant's being at 51, Derry at 46. Just about 2 minutes left in the period and in the game. With only a 5-point difference again.
Looks like a timeout was called.
So Mackenzie, timeout being called. Score sits at Mount Pleasant 51, Derry 46. 4 fouls for Derry and 3 fouls for Mount Pleasant. And exactly 2 minutes left in the period. How do you think this game's going to go? Next 2 minutes left.
I think the game is definitely going to get a lot more tense, and especially on defense. I hope that we don't get into foul trouble, but with the game as tense as it is now, I hope that they hold their fouls to a limit.
I do definitely agree with you. I think defense needs to be the main focus here.
Like you said earlier, I think they either need to step their offense up or bring their defense tight and to a whole nother level.
As the timeout ends soon and they head back on the court, we'll see what they do, whether Mount Pleasant decides to stick to what they're doing or focus rather on offense or defense.
It looks like this lineup that they're holding is holding pretty strong, so I wouldn't think that Mount Pleasant would make any changes to their lineup.
I don't think so either. Quite ironic, in the first half of the game, we were just saying they needed to tighten up on both, make sure everything's balanced and equal. And now, as we end the game, they need to focus on one or the other to try to keep this lead.
I agree. I think at the beginning of the third quarter, they did an excellent job of keeping both pretty equally. But now, as the game's getting tense and they're getting tired, they need to focus on one.
So, we're back on the court. Players back on. Tyler Salvatore has possession of the ball from Mount Pleasant Vikings. He's looking for someone to pass to. And
looks
that
like
person seems to be Jonas King.
And it looks like the Mount Pleasant did not change their lineup, but there seems to be a foul call.
And I believe the foul was on blocking.
That was on Luke, and that's his 4th foul. That brings the foul to equal 4 and 4. 0 tries for the 3, misses off the rim, but Mount Pleasant doesn't recover the rebound. Jonas King blocks 14, and then Mount Pleasant recovers the rebound off of that one. Jacob Johnson now having the ball, looks to Tyler Salvatore. Tyler Salvatore at the top of the key, looks for J.J. Johnson. J.J. trying to dribble inside the lane at the baseline, shoots it 2, misses. Mount Pleasant tries to recover the ball, but it is short in the end.
Derry had possession of the ball, but it does look like Derry, I believe, pushed the ball out of bounds.
Looks like Tyler Salvatore hit the ball off a Derry player at the last second, but it looks like the refs are discussing something.
But it looks like it's going to hold.
They changed the call. They changed the call. It looks like Derry has the ball at our baseline.
Which I'm sure is pretty aggravating for the coaches and players on the bench right now. But as Derry puts the ball back into play, it seems to be, as usual, number 1 throwing it in. Luke's doing a pretty good blocking. Luke's the tallest one out there. Number 1's the shortest, so it kind of bounces out.
Jonas King actually got subbed out by Lucas Tui as we were discussing the foul. Tyler Salvatore trying to block number 0 and does. Number 1 with the ball now. Gives it to number 14, who dishes a long pass to 0, who shoots a 3 and makes it. That cuts our lead to Mount Pleasant 51 and Derry 49.
As Mackenzie said, that really closes the gap between them. Only a 2-point difference in 52.6 seconds left in this period, left in the game. Another timeout was called.
Alex, I'm not even playing the game, and I'm nervous.
I'm stressed.
I'm so stressed.
I'm worried, as we see earlier in the game, Derry likes to stall her time nearing the end of the period, so I'm wondering if Derry's going to try to shoot and score points and then try to stall and hold the game off.
I agree. I think whoever has the lead in the end just needs to hold the ball pretty much at the other end's half and just drain the clock as much as they can.
I definitely agree. I think how this is lining up, as I said, I think Derry's going to try to be super strong on offense, get the points, gain the lead, and then try to drain the clock. Mount Pleasant, on the other hand, I think they just need to really strengthen their defense. They can't let Derry score again, or this might end ugly.
I agree. I think they need to be smart on defense and not think so much on offense and just hold the lead that they have. And if a scoring point comes, it comes.
And after the time, looks like 10 players are heading onto the court. And the ball is in Mount Pleasant's hands.
Looks like J.J. Johnson is going to take the ball at our baseline. Gives it to Tyler Salvatore, who is marked pretty good from 0, but Tyler Salvatore jukes his player out, tries to dribble on our side of the court. Tyler Salvatore now holding the ball. 1-0, ganging up on Tyler Salvatore right now.
I do believe though, I don't know if it's Mount Pleasant's intention. Right now it does look like they're stalling.
But Mount Pleasant calls a timeout at 33.5 seconds.
And since only a little less than 20 seconds passed, but score still sits at Mount Pleasant 51, Derry 49, only 2-point difference with 33 seconds left.
Looks like the fouls are pretty even too. I think that each team is going to keep their fouls at a minimum, so that doesn't give anybody a chance to get free baskets.
It sounds like the cheerleaders are doing some stomping, clapping, cheer over there. And the timeout ends, and the players are heading back onto the court. Let's see how these last 33 seconds plays out. Same players. And it appears Mount Pleasant has possession of the ball, and Tyler Salvatore will be throwing it in. All the players seem to be pretty much at line, a little bit in front of half court. And Tyler passes it to JJ down with number 1 blocking him pretty tightly.
But J.J. Johnson goes up for a 2, misses, and Luke tries for the rebound, but J.J. Johnson gets it back, dishes it to Lucas. Tyler Salvatore now has the ball, gives it to J.J. Johnson.
With only 16 seconds left, I do feel like their long passing was a chance to stall for time, keep that 2-point lead, but a whistle was blown.
Looks like a foul was called on number 20. That is his 4th foul. So Derry is now up to 5 fouls, while Mount Pleasant is only up 4.
And Tyler Salvatore gets the ball and throws it in. But again, we have a whistle blown. Stop getting off me.
I don't know what that means.
15 seconds left, and we still have that 2-point difference between the two teams. And it appears Tyler Salvatore is throwing in the ball once more. There seems to be tight blocking and tight defense. Tyler passes it to J.J. Johnson, who's going down court.
J.J. Johnson has a foul. That foul was called on number 14. That is 1 foul.
So again, that whistle stopped the clock, and we're at 10 seconds left, 2-point difference. And JJ has a chance to gain a little bit more of a lead with the shot.
J.J. Johnson with the shot, he misses.
But there's only 8 seconds left in the game, but Zero is down there, and it was open.
Luke steals the
to
ball!
escape, and there's 1 second left in the game, and the game is over!
Mount Pleasant wins the game! Looks like Luke was the hero in that situation, pokes the ball away.
It was looking kind of blurry in those last few seconds with Zero heading down the court.
I'm
but
pretty
in
sure
the end,
everybody was holding their breath.
definitely, for sure, Mackenzie, I agree. Luke was able to come in the last seconds with an amazing block, amazing defense, and that ends the game. And that was the Mount Pleasant area game. The final score was Mount Pleasant 51, Derry 49. And stand by for an interview with the coach at the end of the game. And hello, Vikes. We have another last-minute interview with the coach, Mr. Alan Belinsky. Mr. Belinsky, what do you think about the second half of the game? What did you change up? What did you think about your team?
Well, we scored 2 more points than they did, so therefore that was a good thing. We just started playing a little bit better, and basketball is a game of runs. Obviously, they made theirs, we made ours. We just ended up on the top of that run.
And how did you have the last few minutes, last few seconds of that game?
I don't have any hair left, do I?
No, you're pretty bold if you ask me. Mackenzie, anything to say?
No, you covered it.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Hey, Landon, what to say?
We go celebrate Logman. Me, Coach Melissa's going right now. Let's go.
Nice, Landon. And that was our Mount Pleasant area boys basketball game. Once more, the Vikes secured the win at 51 points. Derry took the loss at 49. Thank you and have a good night.